What is up, everyone? Welcome to the BNS podcast. I am Brandon.
I'm Steven, and today we have special guest Anna with us too.
Hi.
Today we're going to be talking about what it's like to make it.
What it's like to make it and what constitutes as making it.
Well,
and how do we get there?
I feel like we have a higher standard just because we live in New York.
Yeah, we by default have to have a higher standard because if not, we wouldn't be able to live here.
Yeah.
It's so expensive to live here.
I feel like
that, but I also think how you grew up also changes your definition of making it.
True.
Because for a lot of people who are their family's fresh off the boat and maybe they came here but they immigrated when they were young or their first generation, for a lot of people making it is getting that college degree. For other people whose families have lived in America and stuff, maybe making it is getting that old classic Chevy. Some people might be like, oh, I can now afford this.
Right.
So now I've made it.
I don't know about that.
Maybe we should start off with what individually to us is making it. To each one of us. So
to go to Whole Foods and not look at the damn price of stuff.
Okay, that's a beautiful that's actually a great basis to start it off
I
with.
would like to not look at the price of stuff, or when you're checking out and then you see the total and you don't cringe inwardly at the amount that you're spending. I mean, other than that, I feel like I'll have a sense of making it if I have my own place. I'm not dependent on anybody in my family.
Right.
Obviously I might be dependent on my partner, but that would be a together kind of situation.
Right,
going in together. Sense. But not being dependent on my family for assistance, being able to take care of things on my own, having my own place. That's pretty much it. That would be my definition of making it.
Essentially not having to worry about living or surviving.
Having the basic necessities fulfilled.
Yeah, completely covered. Not having to second guess it, not having to go damn, am I gonna go home? Is there bacon on the table? Is there a shot of tequila waiting for me?
Oh, am I gonna have money to pay the bills or keep the lights on? That kind of thing. Because I grew up with that constantly being a question.
Right.
Of do we have enough money? Do we not? My family got into severe credit card debt.
Yeah.
Just so we could have things that everybody else had, because my family didn't start getting making money until I was already in end of middle school, high school. Right. So I guess that might be I said
really
because of where I came from.
It's
just in my thought I don't care about having luxury bags or I'd like to travel and stuff because I feel traveling enriches you.
Truly.
But I don't particularly care to be going to 5 class or. Well, here's the thing. I would also like to...
Oh, she had to double back on that. Yeah,
don't say something you don't mean. Don't say something you don't mean.
Because my one thing...
We're going to McDonald's after. This is what you're going to say after. Anniversary date, McDonald's. That's what you're going to do from now on.
Food. Because that's what I was going to say. The one thing would be food. Because me and him both really like
big
food.
Foodies.
Oh, dude, we...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've told me countless times. You're a foodie. Yeah.
Yeah. We're we spend way too much on food.
Okay.
We have been to some fancy-ass restaurants where we spent... almost $700 just 2 of us.
Essential.
Yeah.
Super essential.
Or even basic restaurants, we spend way more than a normal couple would.
Yeah, but worth it.
Because
that's food is
the only
memories.
time it's not worth it is if the food is bad, or if I'm getting too little food.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot, but we have encountered that in certain restaurants here in New York, where we were so excited. It was, we saw somewhat good reviews. We went and the food was just shit.
Damn, no plaque for you fuckers. No plaque.
But I will shout out the good ones. Hello Futagu. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. And
Il Molino. Gabby's. One by land, 2 by sea.
Yeah.
Those are extremely good restaurants.
Top ones for us.
Okay, there you go. There's the shout out.
If you guys want to give us free food, we'll gladly accept it, please. We're broke. Talking about making it, right?
Okay, so now I'm curious. Is making it for you food involved?
No. Making it for me is being Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay, billionaire? Okay.
No,
materialistic to the end.
I mean, it's similar to what Anna said. For me, you know what would be making it? Having a house. Mm-hmm. Being able to afford a house, a car, and a kid.
That's the American dream. That's the one that's promoted,
the basic American dream is what I would be considered making it, but it doesn't have to be a house per se.
Right.
You know, of course, modern times, like I would be okay with a sizable apartment, maybe like a 2-bedroom apartment,
Yeah.
a kid, a dog, a car, a parking space. Definitely the fucking parking space. You know, I would say like the basic necessities, but with space and
Basic necessities covered, but a home to call your own.
yeah, and then on top of that, being able to afford, you know, I wouldn't call it luxury, but I would like extra stuff like trips, like being able to
being
travel.
able
Yeah,
to
that is a
leisurely-
luxury. Anything that isn't like
above.
But I'm saying like it doesn't have to be.
essential.
But like at the same time, it doesn't have to be first class. We have to go to like
Right.
whatever country
just
first
having
class.
the ability to
yes.
do it. Yeah,
having
absolutely.
the ability to be able to travel, to be able to do more than just live.
Yeah.
Would be my,
absolutely.
and you know what? It's like even if I have a small apartment, the ability to just be able to do more, even with the small apartment, is still making it to me.
Oh,
So as long as I'm
absolutely.
able to live on my own, or even with my partner and my dog, and like, but be able to actually still live my life would be what I consider making it, which is super hard because it's like for you to even get to that point, you need to work your ass off, and especially living in New York, it's like you really need to work triple, 3 jobs to just afford that idea.
Just to even consider it.
Yeah, like I don't need Burberry, I don't need luxury clothing or
I
anything.
do. If you guys want to sponsor us, feel free to give it.
I was also gonna say, Seth's the man that is always constantly like, whenever I ask him like, "What do you want for Christmas?" He's like, "I want a Burberry scarf."
Oh no, dirty laundry's coming out, guys.
Every single
no,
time.
I'm in the
I'm
crossfire.
just saying, I'm
No,
able
he's
to
very
buy
much
one.
a material girl,
Oh.
very much.
I'm wearing a $10 shirt, sneakers with holes in it, and like $40 jeans. I don't know what you're talking about. My luxury items is the camera that's right next to me with the $2,000 lens. Okay.
Okay, and your guitars.
Yes, and my guitars. But this is what I mean. That's
But
all
being
on
able to
credit.
have, like,
I am
free
broke.
luxury expenses. Yeah,
I was
okay.
gonna say-
That reinforces
He's like,
it. Yeah.
"I'm broke," and I'm like, "Wait, I bought you 2 of those guitars."
Yeah, exactly. But like not having to worry about. I guess you know what?
Right.
To wrap it, not worrying about debt.
Yeah,
Not having
yeah,
to worry about
absolutely.
debt at the end of the day is what I would consider making it. But not worrying about debt and being able to, not worrying about debt and being able to afford some extra amenities in life would be truly, truly making it. But then for me, of course, like we said, New York is expensive. For me, I do have that settling point.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like I want this, but I have to settle because that's what I want, but that's
Yeah,
extremely hard to get. So I have to settle for like I said, apartment living in a space that's kind of comfortable, and being still able to do things would be settling.
I like the idea that you said that like 'cause settling is still like the middle way point.
Yes.
It doesn't have to necessarily be the end goal. Like
Yeah.
you can achieve everything that you want. Like you can achieve the American dream, get the home, get the family, get all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then you can still work past that. It's never an ending journey to anything.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
But
can
like
always
once you
continue
reach,
working.
I feel like once you reach that, you could. I feel like I would be able to say, "Oh, I've made it."
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and now I could still climb, but that would be my
extra. Anything on top of that is just like extra.
Yeah,
fulfillment.
exactly.
Yeah.
But then that's like my baseline level, and I thought I would be at this by now, but I'm not.
Right.
Oh, the
understandable
societal
now.
expectation calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Because like
Yeah.
society is like by 18, like the 1960s
Oh,
way, really.
you should move out by
By
like
18.
22,
Which isn't
21,
realistic
and-
because that was like
yeah.
a product of like the baby boom and stuff.
when
and
houses
after,
were like $20 and like
Yeah.
everything like that.
Yeah.
Like I bought my house when it was $20, and it's like, yeah, you fucking fossil. Of
and now
course
it's
you
worth
did.
like $1 million something. I'm like,
Yeah,
go
and it's
die,
like,
please.
oh yeah, and I was a gas station clerk, and I afforded a whole house.
Yeah,
And my
right,
wife
right.
and my wife didn't work, and we had 4 kids, and we paid for their college, and I'm like, how?
They
And
always
that's funny
end up with
because-
the minimum wage thing too. They're always like, "Oh, minimum wage back in my day was like $6," and then it's like, "Yeah, and you could buy a house." Like,
Yeah,
and I was
mean,
like,
how much are we getting now?
And
And
yeah,
we can't
because back
afford
then
anything.
it was minimum wage.
Yeah.
And then even then, it was like Queens College. Queens College down the street right now per semester is $5,000.
Yeah.
One guy.
Oh, would they raise it?
No, it's been about like 3 to 5. Depends on how many classes you take.
Oh,
and
you're right. Oh, I thought there
Um,
was sorry, I thought there was a credit cap.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, there is. It's like 15 credits, but even then, that's still like it's still.
Yeah, that's being
2,000
full-time
per
versus
credit.
part-time. Yeah.
But I was gonna say that some guy told me a while ago that when he went to Queens College himself here in Bayside, well, technically Flushing, he didn't have to pay. And by the time they did put it in tuition, it was $500.
Damn.
My point. So it's like
Damn.
and like I said, now it's like
Now it's
100
so
times
different.
more. It's $5,000 a semester. which is $10,000 a year. It can be, depending on how many credits once again.
Oh, damn. See, the idea of making it also goes with inflation and everything that comes along.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
It really
So that's
does,
why
like,
that's why I'm
modify
saying
per
earlier. That's why
generation.
I have a settling point of just
Right.
being able to have an apartment with my girl and my dog, and I'll be fine.
Right, absolutely.
You know, we don't need kids.
That's like a big thing. I feel.
You can just have a cat. That'll replace
We have,
the child.
we have a fat cat right there. She barks weird. I mean, meows weird, but like.
No, we're getting a. Okay, so then we're gonna get a cat that meows
Fine.
weird. Like.
We have one. It's right there. Anyways, Brandon, what's
barks
your making it?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad this came to it. But I was going to add on to something that you said. Like,
Okay,
the idea,
go.
I feel like people are scared at the idea of settling because they think that's it.
It's,
And I think more people need to realize that it's important to be able to settle. But then, like I said before, you can move on from that. But people are just always stuck on the idea that you need to settle. So I think it's important
But
that
it's
you
like,
said that.
but because it's like you have,
'Cause
with
people-
context, you have to settle
At some point.
At some point,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like, okay, fine, like you're right, but settling, it can be an end all if you treat it as such.
True.
Because I think
yeah,
people.
you're right. Absolutely.
I think people treat settling as I failed.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's
Absolutely.
what also happens. Like people will bring it up with like in relationships. Oh, she settled. It's like
Yeah.
she had her expectations, and then she's like, I can't reach it. I give up. I'll settle for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what a
But
lot
that's
of people.
different. In
Yeah.
a relationship, if you're settling, you fucked up.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. But I know. But like that's how people like. But in general, like when you use the term settling, that's how people treat it. It's
yeah, I
like
guess
I'm
you're right.
settling for like even in settlement cases. Sorry, I'm like.
But I mean, in this case, it's more like we're talking about like just full on life, I guess, where it's
No,
kind of different, like
Right.
different measures and different terms.
No,
'Cause
I'm
even
not
if,
like, this
arguing
is-
against that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's how I feel like the
Right.
majority of people are viewing as settling as
As
I also
feeling
feel like
failure.
that's
Yeah,
like
yeah, no,
like we
that's-
should have talked about this in the last episode because I feel like that's also ingrained into us as a kid because it's like I wish I touched upon this, but like my family has a certain expectations for me,
Yeah.
and I settled for way less than those expectations because I definitely didn't meet any of them, and now they have to settle. But it's like
No, they have to settle.
they have to
Throw
settle.
it back
I've
in their
already
face.
settled with it. I've already
Throw
griped.
it back in their face.
But like it's just one of those things where it's like you were raised to have these expectations.
Yeah.
And so when you get to that point in life that, those expectations, quote unquote, should have been met,
Yeah.
have not been met, now you realize that you have to settle. And that's where it becomes like an end all be all because you feel broken because you didn't make it like as you thought you should have or as your family expected you to make it. And then it's like, you feel shit. You feel like shit for that.
Absolutely.
And so that's where the point you were coming back earlier, it's like, but for some people they treat it like an end all. But it's like if you're broken like that, then
Yeah.
it's like I understand those people too.
Like where it comes from.
Yeah.
No, completely. You opened my eye to that. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's
True.
not true for every case.
No, yeah, case by case
But
for sure.
yeah, it's case by case. But there are those cases. I include myself into that. I settled because I definitely did not meet any expectations whatsoever.
Right.
But like for other people, it's the same thing, or either that, or they just chose to settle from the get go because they thought that they weren't able to make it to begin with, and like.
Right.
Of course, living in poverty, you definitely have that kind of mentality.
Yeah, going right into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but like, it's hard, especially in New York.
Yeah, it definitely has that extra layer to it.
Yeah. What about? So yeah. Anyways, what?
Going back to you because we never got to you.
Yeah, we never got to you.
My idea of making it is very as
If you tell
antiquated
me
as
golden
it is.
toilet.
Oh my god. Please,
Toilet, diamond encrusted toilet paper.
Oh,
Because I wanted
ew.
to scrape me as like,
the
because I
diamond
bleed
dust
money.
sandpaper, like.
I bleed money at this point. No,
You're
but
like, I'm diamond clean.
I'm diamond clean. What the fuck?
Isn't that like a cleaning solutions like?
I don't know.
I don't
know.
think so.
ding, like maybe I'm just thinking of like. I
Maybe
don't know.
you just made it up. You should make it a thing now.
It's
Boom.
copyrighted. You can't
Yeah,
use it.
There you go. But my idea, as antiquated as it is, it genuinely is such a good idea. But it's like, I really do just want the house for the family, the car,
The white picket fence.
white picket fence. Literally, like
The American dream.
pretty much. I want a 2-family home, so I can live on the top floor. My parents live on the bottom. When they get older, they won't be able to climb up steps. So I prefer them to have like a
Nice.
someplace closer to the ground. So
For
I can,
me,
like,
I'm definitely getting a home where it's just me and my girl. And that's it.
I'm just
My
I was
family
gonna
has their
say,
own home.
That's
Yeah,
a little
yeah, yeah.
different because a lot of people, maybe in America, because
yeah.
I've grown up here, so I kind of see it like that. Because a lot of people view it as making it as being independent from the family.
away from family.
Versus,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
That's how I view
think
it,
that's
too.
an immigrant thing. Well, because even in my head, I know after a certain excuse me.
Bless.
After a certain point, like, my parents own, well, not my mom's, not anymore. I have to constantly correct myself. I was like, I have a little sister, so my mom's gonna be her problem. But like, I'm my dad's only child, so I know after a certain point, the responsibility to take care of him when he gets older is gonna be on me.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus like you have a brother.
I'm pawning them all. I'm pawning my whole family off to my brother. I don't care. I hope he's not listening to this because now he knows my true intention.
I hope he is listening to this so he can prepare.
He is. He followed our YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome!
But,
shout out to you.
But it's so funny because like I had that conversation with my dad. I was like, because even at one point, because I was like, it's so damn expensive. So I was like, oh, maybe my dad, we can do what you were suggesting, get the 2-family house. My dad lives on one floor, we live on another floor. And then my dad was like, I don't want to do that. And he's
Neither
like,
do I.
And I was like, well, why? I was like, because you know your health and all that stuff. And he's just like, no, because that's not going to be fair to Steven. I'm like, what?
I agree with him.
Wow.
And he was just like, because he's like, even if you're wrong, if you two are in a fight, because you are my daughter, I'm going to take your side.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, that is not fair.
I mean, even then, it's like
I can see that. That's very.
That's why I'm just like, okay, you're going to buy a house like down the street so I can watch you.
For me, it's so different because me and my family do not have the same mentality. I share a very American mentality compared to my family who shares a very immigrant mentality, which we talked about in the last episode where I don't get too along. I get along with very select cousins.
Right.
But that's because they understand the American people enough to understand me. But I don't get along with all... I wouldn't say I don't get along with them. I don't understand, and they don't understand me and my family. So for me, I don't want to have a 2-family home unless I'm renting out the bottom half and I'm getting money out of it.
Fair.
But like for me, a 1-family home or even a condo or something like that, just, but that's a private thing. That I just publicly said.
No co-ops. Those are scams.
No, don't do
co-ops
a co-op.
Are scams.
Do not do a co-op for everybody out there.
Yeah. Never a co-op.
But anyways,
I don't know, but like, no, I get where you guys are coming from, the whole independence thing. Like, growing up here, majority of my life, I always thought, like, I just want to have my own place. Yeah. But then after a while, I guess the older I got, the more I was just like, no, I would like to have a 2-family home. Because I have a good relationship with my parents. I can't really... Maybe at first it was rocky, but I guess the older that I got, the more...
It's settled. Like,
the more it's
not
settled,
like
the more
settled,
we,
but like
the more we were able to
settled.
communicate. Like, they started to understand me a lot more because maybe I just was able to articulate everything a little better and give them better understanding for everything. But it's like, I would like to stay connected with my family, like, after this. And I guess maybe everything that's coming about is, like, now that I've been so disconnected with my family in Guatemala, because I haven't been there in so long, it's been very, like, feels weird. Feels like I'm not Guatemalan to some degree, but even though that's, like...
Dude, sometimes... I'll be honest, I'm super patriotic about my country, but I don't feel like I'm Colombian.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that completely.
I feel that 100%, especially because, once again, I'm too Americanized.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that, exactly. And I guess maybe a piece of me wants to know is that, like, I feel like my identity is with my parents, even though that's not the case. Yeah. My identity's in my face. Like, at the end of the day, if someone sees me, I'm going to get called a spick. I'm going to get called a thing, like, if it's through racial terms or...
I get called Indian.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even get called the correct...
Right. They don't even call me the correct slur, actually.
See, you said that, and it's like, I felt the pain, because for me, it's like nobody even recognizes what I am. And so it's like, I immigrated here. Obviously, I assimilated fucking very well, because I came here when I was 3. Right. And then it's also, like, the problem of, like, trying to be American and, like, growing up with these American ideals, but then also being removed from my home country. Right. And even, like, in terms of language, I'm also very removed. Like, I speak Ukrainian with a very...
like a slight accent?
A very thick. Like, everybody can pinpoint, like, I did not grow up back home. Same. And also, like, my grammar... My grammar gives me away, too. I use American grammar with a Ukrainian word, so it's not even the same structure. I always forget that adjectives are supposed to, like, adhere to whatever gender or number the noun is. I always forget that, so it's very obvious.
I have the best analogy for
this is interesting. This would have been a very good, like, discussion for last video.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was like,
this is really good.
But to finish my point, it's like, it's very painful because it's like sometimes, like, my entire life, anytime I brought it up, people are like, oh, what's that? What's this? What that? Like, they're like, dude, they don't even know. So it's like, I'm not Ukrainian enough when I'm back there. I'm considered American. Yeah. But over here, I don't feel like I'm American because of how I grew up, how I was raised. Like, I still want, like, if we ever have kids, or even when we're living alone, I still want to keep, like, my traditions and stuff, too.
Absolutely. I have a good analogy for this because it's like me growing up. and me with my language and everything like that, it's really funny because I feel like I know Spanish enough and everything. Like, I know dancing. It's like, I know all the steps. I just have no rhythm to it. Like, I know how to dance. I actually know how to dance. I just have no rhythm. I know all the steps. I could count them. I could tell you the beat. I could tell you the tempo. I could tell you everything. And I could tell you what to do. But I have no rhythm, man. And so, but it's the same thing with language. Like, I understand I barely understand the grammar, but I understand the language enough. But it's like, but I don't know the rhythm to it. I don't have the accent, and I don't have the everything for it to make it believable.
No, I feel that. I fall in that same category. I can read, write, and like speak it.
Yeah, same.
And then it falls into this whole like, as soon as I go over there, here I am thinking like, even everyone here who is American and knows Spanish will be like, he's so good at Spanish.
Yes.
And then you go back and they're like,
he can speak it so well. He sounds like a telenovela.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to Guatemala and they'll be like, mira, este gringo, pisado cerote. And it's like, yeah.
Which is funny because, like, you go back to your country and it's like, oh, you guys already made it.
Yes,
oh my
every single
God.
time. The American dream
everybody treats it like we have money, and like I'm like, yo, I still live at home.
It establishes
and, like,
the differences on how we made it, right? Making it in another country to them is just coming over here.
Yeah.
You can be living in like the dirt poor areas and they'll be like, you made it. You're in America. You made it. Because $1 is worth more than whatever we have.
They're like,
exactly.
you have a light in your fridge? I'm like, what?
And it's like,
no, you have a flushable toilet. You have warm water. You know this one. Right. You have hot water in your house. You made it.
You don't have like a barrel full of hot water.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so let me tell you, because he never like believes me when I say I'm from the sticks of Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'm not from like some nice town. I'm from the country of Ukraine. So growing up, when I would go back to visit, and I stayed at either so my mom's family is from like a town, but it's like still a country town, so they were still considered more well off because they had a toilet that flushes. My dad's house was so old, it didn't have a toilet, it didn't have a bathtub, it didn't have any of that. It had an outhouse that you used even in the middle of winter.
Right.
I think we talked about this last
just straight up like hole in the...
Yeah.
Well, we've had this conversation.
We've had this conversation. And then the kitchen was separated from the main house. So if you wanted to get hot water because you brought out the bathtub to take a bath or something, you had to go to the kitchen, heat it up in the kitchen, and then bring it over to the main house and then fill up the tub. That's how I grew up as a little kid. Yeah. And so, like, I remember when my dad and grandma and aunt had finally saved up enough money to build a bathroom there. Everybody was like, oh my God, you guys are so fancy. You're living it up. You guys have a bathroom inside the main house.
Damn, making it, dude. Yeah. That's crazy. In other countries, that is the idea of making it, just having like...
Here we are thinking about white picket fences.
Yeah, and
they're over there.
It's a very American...
You got there, you made it, you're there, you're good.
Right, it's like one of those first world issues.
You live, fam.
Yeah,
and then meanwhile, we're like, we're goddamn miserable.
Like, can you imagine, like, we complain on, like, damn, the heater's a little too high, and then it's like, the heater's too high, and then in other countries, they're just
that's
like...
first world problems. First world problems.
First world problems, and, like, we've already made it in the eyes of, like,
so
millions and millions of people.
Or even like think about like your ancestors.
Oh yeah.
I have that feeling every single time when it's like we have that conversation about the fact that I'm allergic to so many things and I'm like, my ancestors are probably looking at me going like, this weak little piece of shit. Like, she can't even eat bread. We're from the bread basket. How can you not eat bread?
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, fine, we made it in their eyes, but it's as we said it's
the
like
personal,
it's still different. It's
Absolutely.
Levels, you know. There's levels to it. For them, this is a high level. For us, this is a low level.
This is we're barely scraping by.
Exactly. So it's like it's like you have to what's it called? Conform your expectation to what your settings are.
Yeah.
Or to like where you are, like where you're living, because like in New York. Fuck, if we have an apartment, we made it, apparently. Yeah. But in Texas, like, they have houses for the same price.
As an apartment, absolutely.
Exactly.
It's like a cheap little studio here,
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that's the thing. It's like, and then for other cities even, like, if we go to any bumfuck city in all of the United States and we tell them we're from New York, they're going to be like, oh, shit, like, this is a New Yorker, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, it's just one of those things where you have to conform your expectation to depending on where you are.
That's so true.
But even then, it's true. Like, the messed up part studying economics is the ratio kind of never changes. So it's like, even if we move to a different city, we're going to get paid less and the rent is still going to be high. So either way, it's like
everything evens out in some way, shape, or
Yeah,
form
exactly.
to just keep you where you want.
It's only good if
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you keep the same job, like
Yeah. And
then
pay
move
rate,
over.
and then
Absolutely.
move over.
Exactly. And my friend, I'm not gonna put him on the spot. My friend moved to Texas recently,
Yeah.
and I remember
Oh.
just having a short conversation. And he works at the airport, and he's moving to Texas, and they told him that like he moves there, they're gonna have to change his rate, and I think it's a little lower in order to compensate for what the rate would be living in Texas.
Interesting.
So he's technically going to be making less money, but the money's still going to get him further there
wow.
because Texas prices are cheaper than New
Yeah,
York.
yeah, absolutely.
And there's
So-
also no income tax, right?
There's no income tax, so you're going to keep more, and you're going to get more out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's technically getting paid less.
Yeah.
So it's like,
He's just getting farther with each dollar. Yeah.
yeah, but it still evens out. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, even if you move to another city, I feel like the struggle is still the same.
Like
You're just in a
eventually
different
it'll
location.
start like slowly the scales will start tipping again back to like where you're like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if we get the same
It's
job in
not-
a different state, chances are we're gonna get paid less.
Yeah.
They
absolutely.
won't accept the New York rate unless it's like a higher position.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was
Damn, that's
actually
crazy.
something I was like, we talked about it, and then I also talked about it with my my head manager about how much I'm getting paid, right? And here in New York, that's like you're just starting to become like middle,
your rate, yeah,
like you're just
You are-
starting middle class.
Mhm.
yeah.
But then I'm like, but if I go to any other thing, I'm like solidly upper middle class.
You guys couldn't see it because there's no camera out here, but when she said that, her eye twitched twice. So it was like in pure like she's believing really hard in what she's saying for a fact.
Oh no, she
Like,
twitches.
she-
No,
she
you don't
no,
literally
no,
understand.
the eye
like-
twitches. I'm tired.
You,
Because
If
you
you
said it
stress
and you were
her-
like,
you
Like,
can
I
stress
felt
her
it.
enough, and her eye will twitch just with any like if you tell her
Really?
something. If you tell her something extra stupid,
yeah.
where it's hard to like compensate or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
hard to make sense of it, her eye will twitch too. Don't worry,
Damn,
it doesn't take
that's
much.
fucking funny.
It does not take much. Don't worry about
Because
it.
it was just like you were putting extra emphasis on what you were saying.
That's just
I
her
like
being
that. That was
exaggerative.
cool.
Don't worry, that's just her.
Yeah, but it is very much that fact of like it's kind of when you think about it like that's absolutely ridiculous like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
amount of money I'm making everywhere else it's like I could live on my own, pay all my bills, be fine,
You
have
could
a car,
have a family.
every-
You can have everything.
yeah, I could be a single mom on
Yeah,
my
yeah.
own. No,
In certain
in certain
cities.
states, yeah.
Yeah.
But it won't fly in San Francisco. It won't fly
No,
in
no.
LA.
Well,
it
yeah,
won't
but that's
fly in
like also
Boston.
comparative to New
in
York.
Florida, you'd be fucking living.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's what I'm
absolutely.
saying. Like that's a little over. And there comes the
Oh.
poopers. Our dog just came down the stairs. But like that's what I'm saying. Like comparatively of what on my own is the family
Yeah, yeah.
median income of upper middle class America, and in New York I cannot make it on my
At
own.
all.
Yeah. So it's I mean, but like that's that's
Again, yeah,
changing
it
your
really
expectations
does.
depending
For
on
where you are,
Yeah.
yeah.
It really is about what's it called? Starts with a C. What's the word?
Compensation.
No. Fuck. What's the
Comparis-
compromising?
Compromise.
It's all
I was gonna
about
say
compromising.
comparative,
settling,
like-
settling, compromising.
Yeah.
It's the same
Compromising. It
word.
really is just about like just settling for it. So back to the original response to like what it is making it for me. 2-family house, white picket fence, all that regular American. But I also don't like to worry about spending money. I'm not gonna lie. I like to spend money on stupid shit all the time.
Yes, you do.
I
Let's
absolutely
talk
do.
about your NFT collection for a minute.
I don't want to.
No,
I do
let's
not want
not.
to.
Let's not, because then my eyes really gotta start twitching.
But I mean, like, hear me out. Hear me out.
I mean, you've
Forgive
made money
me.
off of it, so I
That's
can't.
what I was gonna say. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't blame you
thanks
for
to that, I'm out of debt. Thanks to that, like, I'm positive on savings again. Like, thanks to that, I'm doing well. Like, I did in these past 2 days spend like maybe $1,500 on just like
it. JPEGs.
no. This time I actually bought physical things, which is very weird. I usually don't.
Okay.
But recently I had this whole thing where, I should treat myself a little more because
I already
haven't-
like where this is going because when you say that to yourself, you fucked up.
I like
I'm
to
gonna
treat
treat
myself.
myself buys the
No, but hear me out,
stupidest
hear me
shit
out,
in
hear
I
me
said,
out, hear
existence.
me
I said
out.
I'm treating myself, and I got that.
Hear me. Oh,
Camera,
see,
I'm pointing to my
worth it
camera.
though. Worth it though.
Yeah, okay, because I'm using it for work.
Exactly,
So,
worth it. So my purchases have been very like obscure things, but hear me out. I've hit all my saving goals for like the first half of the year, in the span of a couple of months.
okay, let's go.
So I'm, like,
just go
ahead
for
of
it.
time.
Just tell us.
So I
Rip off the
bought-
Band-Aid.
I am even by that. I bought a book,
Okay.
cheap, $12.
Okay.
Bought a vinyl record for like a bad jazz album that I really like.
Okay.
$50.
I'm waiting for the dumb shit here.
Bought a pair of pants.
Okay.
$658.
What the fuck?
And then I bought boots today. $537.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
Wait, first
no,
off, no.
I'm not gonna
No.
give him shit for
Wait,
the boots
wait,
because
stop.
good leather
They're
boots
good.
are
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
they're
good
good boots.
Wait,
investment.
stop. I'm sorry. No, before we even get to that, do
But
they
fuck you
say
with the-
Supreme on them or what? Like,
No, absolutely.
Okay,
I'm over that phase of
what
my
company?
life.
What company? I have to know because depending
my
on what
God.
company he says, I will know if he overpaid and if it's bullshit or not. Okay, they could
Fair,
be. They
yeah.
could be. What,
A lot of
That
it
is
was like-
true. Yeah, you can like, get them like off thing for like $12.
That's exactly
probably.
what I have to ask.
AliExpress, and
Before,
then-
Yeah.
before you give him the benefit of the doubt, I need to know. Okay, where are the pants from?
Yoji Yamamoto.
No
Never
idea.
heard of that.
It's a
Okay.
Japanese like designer.
Okay, you
So it's
already
probably
overpaid.
fine. No, Japanese stuff is really high
No, it's
quality
like super
and
high quality.
premium.
Yeah, yeah, I bought it from
stuff.
there before, and it's like really, really like high quality like
Just
material
remember,
and everything.
Japan doesn't half-ass anything.
That is true. It's like very like high end brand, but also it's the reason I overpaid for these first pair of pants I bought was $200. This one I bought was $600.
Damn.
But they're adjustable for the sizes up to 34 waist size all the way up to 41. So
Oh,
if
they
I
grow
choose
with
to
you.
lose weight, if I choose to like thing, I can just like they have belts inside of them that you can just pull out and just tie together, and then they're
Okay.
just tighter. And they're
That's
dress
That's
Fair.
a really smart. Yeah, because then
That's
it's like it
fair.
lasts
Both
longer.
pairs of pants are like that. So I'm like super hyped.
But then you overpaid because the first pair was 200.
Well, yeah, but the other one was like nice.
Okay.
It was like really nice, and the
All right.
material's higher quality.
Next, boots.
The boots were also a Japanese brand, Onitsuka Tiger, which I think is off like
I don't know what that is.
separate brand from Asics.
Is it
Okay.
leather?
Yeah, it's leather.
Is
Yeah,
it,
that's
is
why.
it
in
full?
Japan
Is it
leather.
full real leather?
Yeah.
What are the
Uh,
soles of?
Soles are
The soles are never going to be leather.
Yeah,
You're
they're
not
like-
going to
No,
do
I
a
know they're,
They're
not
like a-
leather, but that's not the point.
they're like a tough rubber,
Okay.
like a really
That's
nice
what I
rubber.
needed to
like
know.
a thick.
Yeah,
Because
super
they-
thick rubber.
Because it's like
And they look like dress boots, which is
fine.
even better. But they're low cuts because I don't like when they go too high up, they cut all of my leg up. So
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect for me, and this
I
is the
still
last
think
thing
this
I'm
is
gonna
too
spend.
much because I could buy full leather.
No, but
boots
think of
for
it. I already
200.
paid off my credit card like all completely.
No,
already.
I know, it's cash.
No, I mean like I paid for it all today because of thanks to crypto.
Yeah, I know.
So it was just kind of like
I mean, the pants only because they grow with you. I'll give
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to a certain extent.
The
But the boots, no, because boots, it's like if you're using premium leather, it's all handcrafted, all stuff. It's gotta be that price.
But Doc Martens are also handcrafted.
only
not-
certain ones. Only certain ones. And the certain ones
and the
are
certain
like
ones
300
have
or
that
400.
price tag.
Yeah.
They're not like the regular Doc Marten price though. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. The regular Doc Martens is gonna cut up your ankles. Everything's gonna be bleeding.
Yeah.
Also, if you buy boots like that, wear like 3 pairs of thick socks and
Socks.
break those things in.
Or get that spray that numbs your fucking foot.
Or like the expanders. They sell expanders to
yeah.
stretch it out.
Yeah, you see, I haven't made it because I can't afford any of that shit. So.
Or you could
Well,
just
there we go. So that's my idea of making it. I just want to be able to buy more shit like that without worrying about it too much.
Okay,
But the
that's
thing is,
fair.
I don't even buy stuff like that often. If you guys went through my closet, just Uniqlo shirts like black and this one colored one, and like the guest
Don't
one
worry,
I
this
wore
is
last
counted
time.
on. This is $12.
Oh, yeah, same like $13 because it was on sale, and I was just
Yeah.
like high quality.
what was
awesome
it?
thing
Condon
and-
was having the sale of like 5 for 30.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
A bunch of it.
Exactly. That's
Like
and-
shopping like that is fun. Like I enjoy shopping cheap. It's just fun.
I used to
But the
enjoy
best-
shopping so
Makes you make it
much.
quicker.
and
But then
now
the
I
bad
don't.
part is that it's like shopping for cheap is fun, but at the same time, the shirt is only gonna last you like 3 washes, if that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I've had this shirt for like 2 years.
I don't know. Okay.
This
fine.
is Uniqlo.
Also,
like,
in your
Uniqlo
house,
shirts
nothing
too.
ever gets properly washed to begin with, so that's why it doesn't last.
it gets overwashed and then it shrinks and shit like that.
Right.
So-
Yeah, that makes sense. But like, yeah, that's my idea of making it. And like, I guess in other countries, that again, that's like a big $1,200 on clothing. That's
That's a lot.
absurd.
Yeah.
Even right now. For
That is
us,
absurd in general. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I can't say anything. I have like
I'm just gonna give you $100 like fucking crypto for me.
I can't say anything
It'd
because
just
I go
be
to
easier.
Madewell and like I freaking buy like one dress is $200 and I'll buy like 3, 4 at the same time.
And like, see, we have the ability to do that because I guess to some degree we are still a little bit
Yeah.
okay.
But then at the
But
because
at the same time,
Like,
I
we'll
live at
complain
home and
about
have
it.
no
Yeah,
bills.
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
Oh,
yeah.
true. Like I pay rent and all that. Like, so it's kind of like I do have to budget everything, but that's
Yeah.
why I make a budget, and that's a big important thing that I feel like a lot of people should do. Like, definitely learn to budget.
Yeah.
It helps a lot with just your everyday expenses and just being able to not worry a little bit, not to the point where you can do whatever the fuck you want, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, you
And-
need some stress to survive.
Yeah,
That's the whole point of stress.
right? But like, yeah, like I don't know. It's just like different ways to make it for sure. And
Yeah.
there are traditional routes, and there are obviously the newfound routes that we
Yeah,
have today.
the
like right
non-traditional
now.
routes. But it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's you do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
And it's like, and if you're able to be creative enough to do those non-traditional routes, then it's
Go
fine.
for it. Yeah.
But it's
absolutely
like, it's
go for
hard. Like, you know, of course, the most.
Wait, hold on. Before we go, we're talking about traditional and non-traditional, but we haven't even
I was
Oh,
said
we
what
have to
is
say
traditional.
that. I was
it. We
just
gotta
like,
stop
if
it.
you
Yeah.
waited 2 seconds,
They're
I
throwing
was
stuff at
literally
each
about
other.
to say
No.
that.
They're throwing stuff at each other. You guys can't see
I
it.
was
but-
gonna say the common misconception now is that, like, for most of the traditional roles, you still need a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Go
what
to
I was
college.
gonna say if you waited.
Man, I'm impatient.
Oh my
I'm an
God.
American. I want instant gratification.
God,
Give me
yes.
my French fries
Give me
now.
$1,000 pants now.
Amazon
that
Prime,
is so
next day
true.
shipping. Let's go.
It's my pants and I
You
want
want
them
it
now.
now.
What do you mean I'll get it in 2 days? Grrr.
It's like, I want them
Oh my
on
God.
me.
Can we just talk, like, random tangent? Can we just talk about how stupid that is? That it's like people are now upset that like we.
Dude, we're so
we get-
spoiled.
We're
so
so
fucking
spoiled. Like
spoiled.
people
I
are like, I
remember
can't
this.
get this in the next hour.
I remember
man.
that.
So
That was
stupid.
the worst. That was the biggest complaint during the beginning of COVID.
That
Everything was
took too
slow.
long.
That everything was slow.
And I'm like, ma'am, Karen, people are dying. I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
oh no, my favorite Karen is the ones that like were literally protesting because the salon was closed
Oh, and they couldn't get their hair and nails.
and they couldn't get their
yeah.
hair and nails. For real, this was a big ass
Dude,
like
that's so fucking stupid.
movement.
Dude,
it was
no,
a
no,
movement.
people in
That's
America-
how bad it was.
You know what this is
I'm
like?
like-
When a majority of the time,
That's
those
vain,
people
right?
have
That's what it is.
nothing
Vanity,
to worry
yeah.
about anymore because to some degree they've made it.
Yeah.
So they have to find some kind of rush in
Nonsense,
their life.
Yeah.
So they have to go out of their way to
Just be a
ruin
normal
other people's
person.
things.
Do coke.
People can't. No, because then they're gonna get faster at it.
I
We
know.
don't want that.
I'm
Normal
joking.
people can't afford
They're
Coke.
gonna
It's
like
Whippets.
start whip it straight up. Yeah, ruin your brain because it's already non-existent if you're doing that shit.
Steve-O has more money than us.
True.
That's true.
I love Steve-O. Good
I
for him.
love Steve-O.
I'm glad he's sober.
I'm
This
just
is
saying for you
awesome.
I
guys
can't
listening to
like
this
his
podcast,
teeth.
go and listen to his podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
Steve-O's
Wild,
podcast is-
Wild Rides with Steve-O is so good.
Phenomenal.
But
Steve-O, shout out.
yeah,
Shout us out, please.
So stupid.
I'm gonna tag him in this. I swear to God.
Oh, God.
I'm sending this to his Instagram and like his own shit too.
Steve-O, I love you. Romantically. I mean
Ew.
platonically.
Come
Whoops.
here.
That's
He's like, I have wet dreams about you.
Wait, so okay. So,
So-
so
Go-
traditional values versus like traditional
Yeah,
ways
so-
of making it versus the
Yeah,
new
the traditional route would be
non-conforming.
like you go to like you get good grades in high school, you get a good SAT score, you do the stupid extracurriculars, volunteer work, blah blah blah. You get into college, you network
very
in college.
very flowchart.
Yeah, and then
It's
you get
like
you get a job
Yeah, yeah.
in the field that you got a degree for, and then you move
Bing
up
bang
the
boom, it
corporate
kind
ladder.
of
and da-da-da.
American dream right after.
And then, yeah.
And it used to be such like a big flowchart like that. Exactly how
Yeah.
you're describing it.
It was,
That's
like, set
literally how my
times,
parents
too.
used to talk to me. They're like, "We are in America, so you can do this to go to this to do this to go to college to get a degree to get the job." What happens when you get to America though is that the school system isn't good.
Nope.
So therefore, your dreams are crushed as soon as you enter kindergarten,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Hey, you're gonna fail at life," and it's like, "Well, okay, thanks."
and then you
teacher."
have teachers straight up saying that to you too.
Literally in 7th grade, and I remember you very much, Miss Adams Dennis.
Don't damn.
You said in 7th grade, you looked at me and you looked at me in the eyes. You kept me after class, and you specifically said, "I can't wait for high school to chew you up and spit you out on the street where you belong."
Oh.
And that stuck with me a lot. But then I realized you're a middle school teacher at a job you hate,
Yeah,
and I'm a paralegal, and I didn't finish college, and I'm happy.
that's like
The fact that
in
you were
my
talking
high
about it's
school.
like a
So
middle school
that's
kid,
what I
like-
was gonna say. It's like it's funny because it's like we all have similar jobs.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have no degree.
Yeah.
I have a degree, and over here has 2 bachelor's degrees.
Boom.
with
and we're-
honors that I got for
We're
no
all,
reason.
and it's like in very
no
different
reason.
spots, right? That
Well,
we're
even
all-
then, you guys are on similar positions.
Right.
Not me. I'm in a lower position, but like you guys, both of you are making more than me.
Mm.
That's for sure. And but at the same time, I think she still makes more. But you're, if I remember right from a similar conversation, you're not too far behind from her. I'm just saying. And it's like, and you have no degree.
Yeah.
And you like for would you say you're okay for the pay? Well, not New York. Fuck that. Never mind. That was a dumb question.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like for where I am in the way, but it's strictly only because I budget my money.
yeah.
If it were not for that case, I would not be doing good because
Yeah.
what I'm living off of is barely enough.
Yeah.
If I'm being
but
realistic
even then,
about
it's like
everything,
the non-traditional thing that you're doing is crypto and NFTs and stuff like that.
and like all like side hustles for sure. And that see the fact that I have to do that to live and like make it to
but
some
you're having
degree,
fun with it at least.
Oh, absolutely. I'm having the time of my life doing this shit. But like I agree. It's very again, I don't have a degree. I didn't, and it was such a hard thing for my parents to swallow when I told them like I was on my 3rd semester about to get my associates.
Yeah.
And I always get shit for it, but they're like, you were about to get your associate. Whenever I tell someone, like, you were 1 semester away, and it's like, yeah, but I wanted to take a break. School isn't for me.
Yeah.
100% I knew this in my heart since I was in, like, high school. School was not for me.
Yeah.
I excelled in certain things. I was really bad at other things.
Yeah.
The only things I was ever good in was, like, engineering class and stuff of that sort. Everything else, nothing. Like, there was smooth brain. That's all I was.
But you can't be smooth brain and then say that I was good in certain classes, and especially engineering.
No, but engineering was very smooth brain. Like, oh, hear me out.
What?
The way I did it was very smooth brain. I used to like
it's
3D
like that fish
print.
that makes that like nest thing. It, like
What?
Like I used to 3D print like stupid shit, and like I would do it to the extent for the bit, so I can joke around. Like so I could go. I can't believe I did
very
that.
smooth brain.
Yeah, super smooth. And like it would be like, hey,
But it still takes a brain to do it.
to some degree. To some degree, I will admit that. Like my favorite like memory I have is I used to sit in class and I would just like put the background for my computer as like a Elmo with the fire behind. Like,
Yes,
and
I
would
love
just
that.
and I would just sit down there.
I send that.
Yeah.
I send that all
That used
the
to be
time.
my
It is
favorite,
still
dude.
my favorite meme. I
Dude.
send that to everybody. Chaos.
I used to have that as my background. And I would just sit for like 2 hours in the classroom like this, and then my teacher would just come up behind me and he'd look at me. He'd look at the screen. He's like, "You have so much potential, but this is what you do." And it's like, "What do you want me to do about that?" Like, I'm bored. But then he's like, "Make a car and we'll 3D print it for you. Like, make a go-kart." And I was like, "A go-kart? Anything I want, I can make it." And he's like, "Yeah." So I chose to make a car in the shape of a bone, and called it the Boner.
So what was that about him not?
And he was like, "You have the
Smooth
potential to
brain
do these
shenanigans.
things, but you choose to do stupid stuff like that. Why?" And it's like, I don't want to be an engineer. I
Well,
got this out of pure like I was
well,
forced into it.
I feel like that's something that I don't know about you. For me, being like similar, I don't like mundane.
Yeah.
I don't like I like it sometimes when you need that routine, but I hate being so basic. I don't want to like call it basic because it's not. Like building a car is hard, but
It's
like,
the monotony of
the
like
monotony-
Yeah,
there
getting
you
into
go.
that, getting that. Yeah,
the
absolutely.
monotony of certain things bore me, and I hate that in life. And it's like, you know, just I always want something different. And a whole song came into my head. It's Johnny by Brockhampton, but like, yeah, no, he's anxious and patient and always wants something different.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. And it's like I don't like mundane stuff. And she knows this. Like I like to switch it up, and I'm a guy to switch it up at the last minute and just be like, "Yo, let's."
So irritating.
Yeah, she's the opposite. She likes mundane to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent, like, because I need that repetition or else I go insane.
Absolutely.
But it's like I also like. I'm not the one. I don't like to be physically engaged in things. I like to be mentally engaged in things, which is so. When you said like the whole thing about like that track that everybody thinks, and your parents were upset because you didn't continue on that track, I still followed the track to a certain point, but then I decided when I got to that college level, I was like, I'm not gonna do what it was my very late teenage rebellion, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do philosophy and sociology. So I worked my butt off, and we were in college together, so he remembers.
First off, you started off in just philosophy, and then we talked about it,
and then I grabbed sociology.
and then you grabbed sociology.
Then
Also-
I threw in French for no goddamn reason.
And then it's like, great, now you have all these degrees. What are you gonna do?
Parlez-vous français?
And then I realized with the
Oh,
2
wait.
degrees I got, I
Si, oui.
Yeah, I have
we
to think about.
I was like, see we.
I forgot how to say it for a minute, but like we.
But yeah, but it's like, so I tend to like, but he remember I was like so stressed out because I got all the grades. I got like into honors societies. I finished with honors. I had the minor. I had the double bachelor's, and I work now in insurance.
Right. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. Yeah.
So it's like I didn't even go like to this stuff, but it's like I also like I was having that conversation with my dad because like afterwards there was like a period where I didn't know what I was doing with my life. Before I started this current job and like started having a career, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And my dad was like, well, you can always go back to school for medicine. And I'm like, but that doesn't even make... So, like, medicine is the end-all, be-all, right? In immigrant parents' head.
Because there's always going to be a need.
Yeah. It's always going to be a need, and they think it's always in money.
And,
but here's the problem. I have friends...
I'm one of them. There is not much money in medical unless you are a doctor after 10 years of graduating.
Yeah.
Then there's money.
And that's what I told my dad. But there's also...
But that's why I said after 10 years.
Okay.
That's what I also told my dad. And now it's highly competitive because I was like, guess what? All those same immigrant kids got pushed into medical, and now we're all fighting it, and not all of us can be doctors. Because I have friends that graduated from Johns Hopkins, which is an illustrious medical school, with like honors and stuff, and they're also still struggling to find jobs. I was like, so what is my dumb crying over blood brain gonna end up doing? Right. I need to count on my fingers to do math.
For a person that works in medical, it's weird because it's like you're like you said earlier, there's so much debt in it. You know, from the physician assistants that I talk to and the doctors I talk to, the doctors say go to PA school, it's cheaper, it's easier, it's quicker. And the PAs are like, don't even do it.
Damn.
Because it's like, they do love their jobs. There's just a lot of bullshit to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of, you have to do this, and this, just to do the right thing.
The rat race before the rat race.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and all of them want to do the right thing, but it's hard to do it because of just extra stuff.
Yeah.
But there's so much debt in it now. And being a medical assistant in it, I got paid $18 an hour, and I was bringing in the people, I was drawing their blood, I was updating their chart, I was doing this, that, and the third.
A shit ton of shit.
I was doing a lot of stuff just to get them ready for the doctor who spends 5 minutes with them.
Just to be like, yeah, you're good.
And
that's it.
Exactly. And it's like $18 in New York is nothing. That is $40,000 a year. And $40,000 a year in New York does not
get you anywhere.
That doesn't even pay rent. Bro, that barely pays food. After taxes, I think I was bringing home about $1,000 every 2 weeks. And, in New York, just for everybody who's at home who don't know, New York rent 1 bedroom, if that. No, let's go studio. Studio in a decent neighborhood. Not bad neighborhood, not a great neighborhood. Decent, 1,600, 1,800?
1,800 now.
1,800 now, right? But then I'm bringing home $1,000 every 2 weeks. That's $2,000 a month. I could not afford to eat or have a phone or have Netflix. Okay, fine. Even that, I'm not able to. I have $200 a month to eat.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are my bare necessities. Like, that's not including clothing. That's not including transportation. Even if I walk every day, that's it. So
that's not living.
Yeah, and I'm working, and and the doctors and the physician assistants are working their ass off too. I don't know how much they're getting paid, but unless you're in a specialty, you're not getting paid that much. So it's like, even then, it's like those people have made it, but they're still struggling with it.
Right.
So it's like, even medical, like you were saying with your dad wanted to push you into medical, it's even then I would tell people personally, it's like, do it, but you have to understand that even if you want to help people, there's a lot of BS to it too, and that you're gonna have to jump through so many hoops just to actually help out.
Well, some of it is also like necessary BS, because like how we were talking earlier,
like the
medical ethics and stuff.
For a person who desperately needs a knee replacement, has to go through a couple of series of injections, an MRI, an X-ray, and everything like this. Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody here knows that they need this knee replacement. It is bone on bone. It's starting to cause other problems. And there's no other way around it unless they do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 before doing that.
Right.
So that's what I can tell you. So even for somebody who had an injury, they have to get an X-ray and an MRI before even getting clear to get clearance for surgery, which is another hoop. And then if you don't get cleared because you have another problem that was actually found during the clearance, now you're actually screwed. Now you have to solve that problem before you could actually get to the other main problem that you fell and you broke your arm. That's what I mean. So it's like, yeah, you're right. Sometimes it is necessary. I understand that. That's completely fine. But then at the end of the day, a lot of people. So I'm going way off topic with this. Yeah. Either way, but like
it's okay. It's interesting.
Right. But I work in it, so it's But it's making it even then. It's super hard. Whether front desk makes less than $18. and then medical assistant makes $18.
And these are all full-time positions.
These
right?
are all
Yeah.
40-hour positions. So this is when
Yeah.
I'm giving you the prices, I know because I've already worked in them. I was front desk, I was a medical assistant, I was a manager for a short period of time. I did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like you don't get that much. And even then, it's like if you're a phlebotomist, maybe you can get $24 after 3 years of experience. So now you have to break your back for 3 years before you can get to a $24.
Yeah.
And $24 only gets you $46,000 a year, $48,000 a year.
Yeah.
Which is still not
the time,
livable.
and by the time you get to that point, prices and rent's gone up,
Inflation.
food prices,
Everything's gone up,
everything's gone up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's not even.
Sweating.
No, me too. Yeah.
Somebody turned on the heater, so now we're just gonna suffer.
It's okay.
But like so it's
taking this
still
off.
still in New York. It's still not. It's still not enough for those for those people. They still
Yeah.
have to work those 3 or 4 extra jobs. That's why I'm doing photography on the side. No, I love
Right.
photography. I actually wish this was my full-time job because I love it. But it's like there's not much money in it either.
Yeah.
And I know that going in. That's why I still have a regular job, and then photography is my second job. And it's like unless I follow you in crypto, which I kind of want to now, but or become a YouTube star,
Yeah.
and even YouTube stars, that's their second income because they still have other main sources of
Other
income, or they have like
ventures.
10 revenue streams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you know
like
what?
it's
Going back
like
to my original-
sponsorship.
Yeah,
all
going
that
back to
stuff.
my original idea of what it is to make it only have one job and being able to afford everything. There you go.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? I changed my whole thing.
Yeah.
If I'm able to have one job and be able to afford to live and then some, that's how I know I made it.
Yeah.
Because everybody,
Independently
That's
or
such
with
an
like a partner.
important thing. that
either
you
one
bring
is
up.
fine with me. Of course, with you, I want to be
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you.
No, I just
But-
meant like logically, like.
But even then, it's like,
the
well, you know me. Sometimes I just think like, she knows this. We have this
Right,
conversation
right.
a lot. For me, like making it would just like if I'm able to afford to live by myself.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
like of course I'm going to live with her and everything, but like at the end of the day, for me, like just the idea of it is being able to afford all that and live by myself. One job that would be me making it.
That's such a big thing that you bring up too. The whole the one job situation.
It's
I don't think a
impossible.
lot of people like realize that the people who are working 2 to 3 jobs aren't doing it for fun. They're not doing it
It's a
because
necessity.
yeah, it's because when you see them doing that third job, not going to sleep, missing like 5 hours of their sleep, it's
yeah.
because they're barely scraping by. This is how they make ends meet.
Yeah.
This is the idea of like hustle culture. This is the idea of like I gotta do whatever it takes to live. It's not something to be glorified because people are suffering a lot. A majority of the time, people that do that are suffering.
And that's
They don't
the-
get any
the
breaks. They don't get any
unfortunate
anything.
thing is, it's like now because of like social media,
We like
everybody's
praise that.
it's like hustle, like girl
so
boss it.
stupid.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't even fathom, because I think I'm the only one here who doesn't have like a side thing, and I strongly don't want a side thing, because like we were saying, I was like, I got this one job, I poured all my time and energy into this one job
Right.
for this one job to fulfill what I needed to fulfill. At that point, why do I have this job?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
And it's
unfortunately,
like-
it's also not realistic for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, and the reason that they have more than one job is because a job that does pay more, that can absorb job 1 and 2, you're going to need a stupid amount of experience or a degree that has nothing to do with the actual job.
Boom.
Or it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you need
Or
X, Y, and Z.
certifications, which are extra.
Okay,
That's-
certification is like a 50-50 thing. For me,
Yeah, yeah.
I understand. For me, being in medical, a certification is necessary because that tells me that you actually put up with training and the education to do certain things in my job. That's fair. But other certifications,
Other
bullshit.
certification, like you can get managerial certifications. It really doesn't. I'm certified in a managerial course, and I'm like, I can tell you right now, I learned nothing in that 8-hour course. Nothing. Smooth brain all the way through it.
Smooth brain. Dude, no,
Like it was more like a
important
common sense course, and even then, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think half the people understood what was meant to be.
You know what I like? You know what? You say your thing first because I already know what you're
I
going to say. I'm gonna build
literally
on
just threw it out the back of my head. I forgot.
It's
It's
what
about the
Smooth
one.
brain.
It's about not needing a degree.
Fuck.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was gonna say it's like to get a better job. So it's to get a better job that absorbs job 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah.
You either need to have a stupid amount of experience,
There
a
you go.
degree. There you go. Okay, go.
No. You finish your thought. I'll go.
That was it. It was
Oh.
like you need a stupid amount of experience,
No,
or you
yeah,
need
yeah.
or you need a certain degree that has nothing to do with it.
I was gonna say like yeah, that's like the flow chart that usually our parents live by, where it's
Yeah.
essentially that you are supposed to have that one big job and right after you get out of college, and then you're supposed to go into it. But because of like what the time and age that we live in, inflation, and all these like situations that we're in, no one's able to do that anymore. Everyone's going for the same jobs because they all assume that, again, like in the medical, everyone thinks medical is going to be money, and everyone's going through medical. Everyone's going for the same thing, and we're like lacking in other places. So when it comes down to the situation, like no one's actually doing anything out of passion for what it
but
is
even
that they want to do, or
other
just
places,
stuff that we need.
The other places aren't paying enough either.
That
That's
is
the
true.
fucked up
That
part.
is very
That's also
true.
like the after COVID, like the whole Great Resignation thing, and it's like, so many people like resigned because they were like they reevaluated their priorities and stuff. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm saying to each their own. I was in a position because I was thinking of also my father's health that I was like, I need this job in case something again happens to him. Other people were like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna. Even if this puts me in financial straits, like I can't keep doing this for my own mental health, physical health. But then all these people, all these like CEOs and all these like think tank people, they're like, oh, I don't understand why but everybody frames it as people don't want to work. It's like, no, everybody is fine with working. We want to be paid appropriately for the work that we do. I think it's one of the Scandinavian countries where it's like people get an allowance from the state.
Yeah.
You get their like minimum wage is like the point where it's like no matter what job you do, you can live comfortably, have your own place, support a family on it.
Yeah.
And then you get so many vacation days. It's like
3 months.
Yeah, it's and then like maternal and paternal leave is like
a year and a half.
A year and a half, which is ridiculous. Like here, it's not even.
I know these numbers. I looked into it.
What the fuck?
It's like a year. Like you get some places even give up to 3 years.
Oh, what? That's insane.
For maternity, not paternity.
I can't even contemplate the idea.
Just maternity because it's like there's a certain. I think some places are until the kid can go to school.
Yeah, it's like the.
But I have to look up.
Contemplate.
I'm gonna look. I'll look
Ukraine,
it up later.
In Ukraine, when I was born, my mom could have technically taken up to 3 years of maternity leave and
Ukraine.
still had it. It's no longer. It used to be
years.
like that. Yeah, she could have took 3 years and still come back to the exact same position that she had.
That's crazy.
Because it's
and
like
the US only gives you
understanding.
like 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
I think 3 months.
Up to 3
My
months.
job gives you 3 months.
It's less.
No, 3 months.
3
Jorge took
months?
3 months.
Oh, I already forgot.
Yeah. But like going back to the whole like degree thing, like I work in insurance, right? I'm a manager of my department, and then I think of like everybody in my department and their degrees, right? I have a double degree in philosophy and sociology.
We have a friend that went to Cornell and has a degree, and he's still working the same job.
Be like that, dude.
And if anything, he's
like that.
lower. You would expect him to be higher because of his education, but he's lower. Then we have 2 people
one who's working on a bachelor's, one who's currently in a master's, still getting paid less than us.
Other 2 who worked in fashion and have degrees in fashion. Another person who has communications and broadcasting and stuff. And I'm like, these degrees don't mean anything.
All these traditional ways
do not mean anything anymore. Because it's like back then, if you got a degree in philosophy and sociology, it's either you went into politics or you became a professor. And then politics, you need to network and you have to be born into the correct social strategy. No, not even network, because you need to be born into the position to begin with.
Also true.
Social strata.
Social strata. Whatever social strata you were born into, that also leads it, because it's like your uncle introduces you to this and the
like nepotism, like right off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
And then the other route is professor, and now nobody wants to pay teachers. Tenure is disappearing. Adjuncts are getting paid less than like even minimum wage, and then every single semester they have to do a sing song and dance before the college board and be like, please keep me here. I would like to continue teaching and not die.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say from the degree thing, this is why I respect companies like Google, and I think Tesla has it. You don't need a degree to work at Google. You don't need a degree to work a high end position in Google, but you do need the experience to back it up. But even to get an entry level position at Google, there is no, you could look it up, I already did, there is no necessary degree. It says you can do a 4-year bachelor's degree in computer science or have an equivalent amount of experience. So you could actually, if you have computer science experience, just you could tell them that, look, I don't have a degree, but I try to start up. Here's programs that I've made. Here's work that I did on my own. You know, and you can prove that to Google. You are eligible to get one of the. I'm not going to say you're going to get it, but you're eligible to get one of those positions compared to other companies where it's like, no, we won't hire unless you have a 4-year bachelor's degree in this.
And I think that's so
and
stupid.
then experience on top.
And then
of
experience
that.
on
so 10 years experience and like,
it's like 10 years experience. You know, master's degree, and has to be under 20.
So they realistically don't want anyone, and I think that's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the issue I have, and it's like no longer a thing. This is why I personally stress the importance of being good at conversation with people, with anyone, anywhere. Being like stressing the idea that you should be able to be. I'm an introvert. I'm also a social butterfly when the situation calls for it. Like when I know there's something that I can. Oh, it's gonna sound super manipulative. But when I know there's like a chance for me to get something out of this,
of course,
I will double down and I will
me too.
suck that. But
oh no. I'll double down. I won't suck dick.
I'm the exact opposite.
like,
I was like, how can I have the least amount of social interaction possible?
If you think you're an introvert, she's more introverted.
I believe, you guys.
She's even more introverted. I'm the most extroverted here, but like you're in the middle.
But it's like it really is. It's for the sake of the job. Like I try to explain this to my parents time and time again. Where not anymore because now they get it. But before it was like, no, you guys don't understand. I feel like I could do this my way, like working my way up from the bottom to the top, like through going through companies and stuff like that. I'm 100% sure I can do it. And then it started off with GameStop. A couple of months and I was assistant store manager, and then I moved over to I was working at Adidas, and then I went to Gap as a stockroom manager, and I was like just moving my way up like that. And then luckily through my ex-girlfriend I was able to get the job at the law office. And then through data entry they were just like, hey, you're pretty smart, very wrinkly brain. They're like, yeah, you'll come on up paralegal, and I was like, no, I'm good. And they're like, we'll fire you if you don't, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll take it. So I always wanted to be one. So it really is a matter of like being able to it's gonna sound like I'm gonna say luck, but luck pertains to being prepared in any situation for any given moment. It's like a conversation I've had with my dad where if you study for 10 different things and you're really good at those 10 different things, there's a chance that one opportunity is gonna come out of those 10 things. And because of the fact that you studied for that, you're gonna get it. Yeah. You have like a higher chance than most, and that's luck. Luck is just being prepared for like any situation that you get, like that presents itself to you. And I think that's where it fell for me, but it doesn't hurt if you know how to seduce people. Like,
no, he's right.
If you know how to talk to people,
I wouldn't call it seducing. It's just
I would definitely call it
silver
seducing.
tongue. You just gotta know how to use. You just gotta know how to
sleep with the boss.
I'm the exact opposite. Oh my god.
Sleep with the fucking boss.
No, I just.
But like, no, it's definitely you gotta know how to talk to people. You
that's
gotta
what I was
being able
say.
to network, talk to people. It gets you so far in life, and it beats college. It beats things, and time and time again, it's only shown to prove itself. The further down the line I go in life, it's proven time and time again that I'm just beating out anyone with a degree. But not because not to flex on them or anything. Well, a little bit to flex on them, but also it's just like it's me proving a point. I guess to my parents, they internalize this for me to some degree, where it's like I want to show them that I can get to really good positions in life out of sheer determination and what they raised me on.
So
just I can talk to people.
I do things out of sheer spite. I want to prove you wrong. I want to prove my family wrong.
I just want to be like, don't put those standards on my little brother. Like, let him know. I want him to learn. He loves school. Yeah. So I'm not gonna knock him. I'm not gonna call him a nerd or anything. But
no, he is.
but no, he's cool nerd.
You can't say anything considering who you're dating. Like really.
We're both nerds in our own ways.
Yeah.
There you go. But like my brother likes to school rat, and he told me he wants to go to college and he wants to do these things, and he wants to be a psychologist. And I was like, that's awesome. And he's like, way smarter in school, way more wrinkly brain than I am. Like super. Like his shit is fucking like
a Brillo pad.
Oh, like a fucking dense ass Brillo pad. Like he's super smart. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, go for it. You go the school route, and even if you don't, just be good at talking to people. Like, just
that's really, but yeah,
it helps you too. And then put those two shits together, bro, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, but then
to a certain extent, because I am gonna interject in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
there are autistic ass people that have manager positions in like my previous jobs, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Like a lot of my previous jobs, they were okay. Have I met other people that have better positions than me that I swear to you shouldn't be there?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say.
No, some very questionable like chosen, but again, nepotism is like a big thing I look at.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get those positions and they're not qualified for it because they know someone on the outside, on the inside, and it's just like.
Or they're like people like them. They're likable or
People
charismatic
like them, but
or
then
whatever.
that's when you show them you gotta like me more.
I don't know either. I know who you're referring to. I don't know either. But
It's not this position. I'm talking about another one.
yeah, I know you told me about it. So then I met that person, so I know what you're talking about. But I was gonna say, like, it's a little different, at least from my own personal experience, because it's like I wouldn't say I'm very sociable or very charismatic. I find like sometimes it depends on the day. I'm very stop-start. I can be, but most of the time I'm not. So like the one thing I can say full-heartedly is like my position, I busted my ass for it. I literally was just like, because this is my dad's, like, I internalized my dad's kind of view is like, if you're gonna do something, do it right. And if you want to do it, you put everything you can into it. There's no like half-assing it.
I don't like the first part of that.
If you're gonna do something, do it right.
Yeah.
I know it's a very toxic kind of mentality, but it's like
it kind of puts extra pressure on the failure of it. Like if you fuck up, then it's over for
that's
you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how my life is set up.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, at
but
least
if I could,
damn.
Yes. I'm sorry. Continue with it. I'm just saying. But that was it.
It's true. I'm not saying it, but it's like that's how usually I approach work. It's how I approach studying in college too. It was like, I'm doing it my all, but it was also with spite. I'm like, because my entire family...
Spite gets you places. I'm not gonna lie.
It was very much that thing where it was like, my entire family was like, oh, your degree means nothing. So I was like, screw you. I'm going to get 2 degrees with honors. And then...
still didn't do anything with them.
Oh.
I still have them. That's not the point. I still have them. And then...
Oh, no.
You're
not
the
like
worst.
this.
I love you, but you have a
Not
job
like
that has
this.
nothing to do with either
But
degree and the honors.
the like critical thinking skills did help.
Okay, fine.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely beneficial.
But then-
You can't go wrong.
and then-
Critical thinking skills important.
Yeah, very. So I would say just take one like basic like logic class in college. It really will help you like miles and miles. But the other thing, and then when I got to this job, my entire family was just like, oh, it's like kind of like a low position, like, why don't you try like just, they were all just like, if you don't like it 3 months later. I'm like, no, I'm going to stick this out. I'm going to, like you said, I'm gonna build it through the company,
Yeah.
and so that's literally what I did. I like nose to the grindstone, or however paste on. I don't know what the actual
No, you
phrase.
had it right the first
No,
time.
you were right. You were
Nose
right.
to the grindstone.
I was
yeah,
like, it
you had
sounded
right.
wrong, but I was just like, I put in all the work, and I was gonna, because I was like, my work will speak for me. I was like,
Absolutely.
I'm socially incompetent. My work will have to speak for me.
Yeah.
And then somehow I got to, like, honestly, half the time, I tell this anecdote all the time in my office, because I was like, I thought I honestly wasn't going to get the job, because I applied first for a receptionist position, and then I interviewed, and they were like, oh, well, you're really young, and we're kind of looking for somebody to stay, like, long-term, so we don't know if this would be the right fit for you, because I was just fresh out of college, and I didn't know if I was going to go back, what I was going to do. But they're like, but we have openings in another department. It's less pay than what the receptionist position is offering, but the manager isn't here right now, so we'll talk with her, and then we'll give you a call back if she's interested. And so I left it. I'm like, they're not gonna call me back. All of a sudden, I get a call back. Can you come in this time and this time? I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
I come back. I have that interview. I talk. I do the little proofreading exam that we had. I talk with her, and she's like, okay, yeah, we'll be in touch. I'm like, I'm not going to get this job. Then I get a call, and they're asking for my references. And I'm like, okay, I'm really not going to get this job, because I have...
Wait, what are you talking... If they call and get you references, that's where you got the job.
No, because in my head, I was like, I have no references.
Yeah.
Because I had one other job showing apartments. I was like, I have no references. So it's like, okay, here's my references, I guess. And then they called and gave me an offer, and I'm like, what? And so when I started, I was still waiting for somebody to, like, come out, like, ask you
Prank.
punked.
You got
punked.
punked,
I
dude.
swear, I was waiting for it. I was like, this is too good to be true. And now I'm here.
That's more of a imposter syndrome kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
hard.
That's imposter syndrome. I wouldn't say that's not...
You know what's a big thing that I like that's making me realize, like, from the working your way from the bottom up, I feel like people look down on that a lot, like, way too much. I feel like people are very...
Wait,
working your
look
way
down
from
on
a
what?
bottom position, like
Oh,
working your way
yeah,
up.
and then
When
going
you
up.
tell someone that that's the plan, they're just like, should have gone to college, fucker. And it's
But
like,
even
whoa,
then,
But then my ass went to college, so I'm like, what the
no,
fuck?
I know, but that's the thing. Like, people look down too much on it, but don't face the facts that are happening. It's like, you can go to college and not get shit
Yep.
afterward. Like,
Yeah.
why? And it's like, why, like, the audacity to go up to someone and be like, you're a sales associate? spit on their face. Like, why?
But then it's like the job that says you need 10 years of experience, that counts.
Yeah, that absolutely. Like, where do you think you're gonna get that shit, right? Like,
Yeah,
where do
exactly.
people think
And
they're
that's
gonna
where
get that?
you get that interpersonal like
Skills.
skills and
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely. So, like, big recommendation is, if you don't think the college route is for you, then work your way from the bottom up. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that gives you even more insight to working your way on the top. Because that can apply to not only that place that you're in, but in other places, and not only that, but in life. It gives you so many life skills. Take it away.
So no, you reminded me. So when I
I
had
wish
that,
the camera was
Yeah, I wish.
Because
She was tapping a button like for no
Yo,
reason.
for real, her face was like, ooh.
no, so this actually,
it's like,
so
you would have been so good
so
on
when
Family
I-
Feud with that.
yeah. So one of the things that like stuck with me from that managerial course, right,
Yeah.
was they were talking about a breakdown of like how people move up in the company, right? And so it's like one position to eventually to the top to the CEO.
Yeah.
And so they're saying like usually it's like people at the bottom, they have the technical skills, but they don't have the interpersonal skills.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
as
yeah.
you move up, your technical skills decrease and your
Interpersonal
skills
Right.
become greater. And I think the interesting thing that had been brought up was a lot of the times people, they were saying like if you get promoted to certain positions, they're saying you either get promoted and it's because of your interpersonal skills, but then you don't have the technical skills to back it up.
Yeah.
Or you get promoted on your technical skills and you don't have the interpersonal skills. So to add on to what you were saying, I think it is very important. I would say go the bottom up route because at least you'll have the technical skill foundation. Interpersonal things, I think you can, if you want to, like I force myself every day at work to do it. Like if you want to and you're like, I need to do this because I want this position, you can build those skills. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be painful, but you can build those skills. Versus like technical things, I feel like if you just interject yourself, like say if you were going the traditional route, I got a college degree, so I got a higher position than some person who went straight out of high school, right, with a GED. Like they might not have the technical know-how that is needed for that position. So I think it is, I would just say personally on like a standpoint, I think it's better to have that technical foundational knowledge.
Right, like getting that experience from it. Absolutely. It's so important.
Right.
I don't know that.
You know what's funny is that, you okay there?
Yeah, I was just doing the fun thing again.
I'm just like thinking about it too because I know people that started from the bottom and immediately chose to settle too. And I feel bad for those people.
I think it's a mindset kind of thing too.
It really is. It really is just like when you get into that position of like at the bottom where it's like decent enough.
Yeah.
Some people
But
really
it's
do
not
think
even like
that's
decent.
it.
They just feel like they can't do better, so they're not
Trying anymore.
They're not trying anymore, or they just don't want to add on more responsibilities
to what it is to do. It is
to do the higher end positions. Because, like, let's be
Right.
honest, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. You have to be less technical, more interpersonal as you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
up. But at the same time, there's people that just don't want that responsibility.
Which is
That is
fair.
true,
Like
that is
not
true.
everybody is born to be leaders.
Yeah.
Like
But then I just feel bad
There's the
at the same
shepherd
time
and the
because
sheep
it's
for a
like,
reason.
you know, it's like you shouldn't put yourself down. Or not like put yourself down, but like you should
not
push
se-
yourself
like,
to do more.
Right, but I guess some people, like
But
you said,
here-
some people do settle. It
But
really
here's
is
the
that.
thing. But like this is going back to the thing of saying like settling shouldn't be seen in a negative context.
Yeah,
It's
it should
not.
be
'Cause
seen
there's,
as
like,
like
But
the
I
Not
just
basis.
want-
everybody
but that's like-
should.
but then at
I
the
know
end-
what you're talking about.
I
Like
just
those
want people to succeed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want
exactly.
people
No,
to
you're right.
succeed.
Yeah, the basis, and then you can still move up. But some people
Yes.
really get like the basis, and
But here,
I guess the basis for them really
But
is that's
here's
it.
the thing,
Yeah.
like so, like my dad has his own company, and he's
Yeah.
constantly to me like, why don't you want like be a CEO? Why don't you want to have your own company? It's like, I'm fine with just being like that middle person.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that, and like some people might see that as settling, but it's like but like I'm okay with that. I don't want to be the leader. I don't want that responsibility because I know
And here
personally.
you are a manager.
I know, right? But like I don't want to be like an executive in the
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like no. But
I mean,
like
I would definitely want to be that. That's just me. But it's also different when it's like you work for somebody else versus
Yeah,
working for
yeah.
yourself. Because it's like working for yourself is just whatever you do, you make. At least working in a company, even as an executive, you still have the health benefits. You still
there's
have
that safety net.
Yeah.
you still have a good safety net.
But like that's what I was saying.
And then
Like
you also have to
how
work.
you're
Sure.
saying it is like these people are settling and they're kind of like self-deprecating.
Yes,
and
they are.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
self-victimizing.
I'm talking about. I know people exactly like that.
I know. I know exactly. But, like, that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily every single time when that happens, it's a case of, like, these people give up. Sometimes it's like, no, I know what's good for me. I found my sweet spot. Like, yeah, go ahead.
I have so much to add
I
to that.
wish
Now-
we had the
now I've
camera.
created-
I wish we had the camera.
I'm like
Damn it.
slapping my fucking hand on
I've
the
made a
table.
thing now.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like I wanted to stress the importance of what you're saying because that is so fucking true. For anyone listening out there, majority of the time, like 99% of you are not gonna be fucking millionaires.
No.
99% of you are not gonna be 100% of you are not gonna be billionaires. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Stop.
You guys are not gonna be
I
just.
still want to do it, damn it.
No, 100
I
you
want to
can-
be the next
there
Elon
is no-
Musk.
okay, there is.
I want to
nothing-
buy out Twitter, cash.
Oh my god, I
Pocket money. Pocket money. No, there is nothing wrong with wanting
yeah.
that. But you need to come to terms with the fact that it's impossible for you to do that.
Well, that's what compromise is.
Yeah, you have to compromise to some degree. Not everyone. If everyone had the ability to do that, everyone would be that. Everyone would be a fucking billionaire. And you hustle bros are gonna come at me right now. And you guys have to understand, like, half of you guys are sitting in your fucking bedroom right now, just going, "Oh, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it." You're not gonna fucking make it. You got to realize you got to compromise it. You're not going to be the next trillionaire, billionaire, millionaire, possibly. But you have to come to terms with there will be a point in time where you are okay, and there's nothing wrong with being
Okay.
normal.
But then I feel like
And you could also take
There's
that
nothing wrong with
energy and
being
apply
average.
it
hold
in
on,
other
hold on,
places.
hold on. But I feel like the only downside to even saying that out loud is that you've already limited yourself. I'm not look.
No.
I'm saying
Okay.
you're right. I'm saying you
No.
are
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's all true. But then at the same time, it's like the people who did make it.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill
Okay,
Gates, whatever.
yes,
Name
all these
hold
people
on, hold
that
on.
started off with rich parents.
Can you shut up for like 2
my
seconds? I'm
God.
sorry, but like hold on 2 fucking seconds. I'm gonna explain it to you. The point of it is that yeah, you know, most of us aren't gonna make it. That is
Yeah.
a truth. That is, you know, that's most of us. But then at the same time, putting that out there, saying that, you still limit yourself mentally,
Yeah.
and you may force yourself or you may force somebody else to compromise and settle when they could have done more. And they, you know, and even then it's like, if you're not aiming for anything higher, then what are you doing? You know what I mean?
I
that's
get
why-
what you're saying 100%.
No, like I said, it's not for everybody. It's not
Yeah.
going to happen for everybody. That's a truth. But then at the same time, it's like I said, if you're not aiming higher for yourself
Yeah.
in one way or another, then why even try then? Even though it's like, you know what I mean?
You know, I 100% get
like
where you're
that. That's
coming
what I'm
from.
saying. Like, there's a big downside to.
No.
doing
Okay,
that.
so I get what you're saying completely, but that's
Yeah.
why I said the important is like you can continue dreaming that you're gonna be like you can continue saying that you're going to be the next Elon Musk
Yeah.
and Jeff Bezos, and there is nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
there's anything directly wrong with that. You can continue having high expectations for the rest of your life, but the thing is you have to hit it with a dose of realism.
Yeah.
You can't always assume that it's always gonna be like that's it. It's guaranteed for you because you
Oh,
set
no.
it out like right. Like
I'm not
exactly.
saying guaranteed, but I'm saying that
No,
you
no,
should
I
still
know.
have that. You should
you still have the dream.
But you should also
Absolutely.
be chipping away at
Yeah,
it. Like you should
be
always
real about
continue working.
Exactly.
So you make it or make it as close as you possibly can. That's what I'm trying to say.
Do what you can in your lifetime, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, keep on working to it. And I'm not saying, like, there's a downside to, like, what I'm saying is just, like, hit it with realism. Because if you keep on lying to yourself, you're going to realize that it's never going to be enough for you.
Yeah.
And you're going to come to this point where you're never going to be happy with what it is that you have. And I feel like a lot of people are too caught up in the idea that they're chasing their dreams and hustling too hard that they begin to lose, like, the appreciation for everything that they already have and that is already around them and where they already succeeded.
Yeah.
Because they have no time to celebrate where they are currently. Like, it's like, I want to be a millionaire, and you hit $500,000, and then, you know, you're still caught up in the idea that you're going to be a millionaire, and then you get close to dying, and you're just like, damn, I never became a millionaire. No, but you hit $500,000, and a lot of people in this lifetime are not even going to hit that.
Yeah.
But the beauty of, like, and the sad part about it is that you didn't get to celebrate that.
Yeah.
You know, you weren't able to appreciate it. Like, again, nothing wrong with celebrating, like, being more than that. Like, if you wanted to be a millionaire, go for it. Be that. But if you hit $500,000, celebrate that.
Yeah.
So
But
I
that's
get what you're
different.
saying. Yeah.
But that's kind of different from what you just said earlier, because from what I got, from what I understood or got from what you said earlier, is like understand that you won't be a millionaire. Period, and like
Oh,
don't
yeah,
even.
I guess I said it very certainly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like
absolutely.
you said, it's so cut and dry that I was just
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
that is not a good kind of way to say.
Not the best message, you're right.
Yeah,
It's two-pronged because like I'm looking at this from the perspective of like social context, right? And it is just a basic truth in life. We're not all going to ever achieve the same thing. We're not going to all be able to, no matter how much sometimes we hustle, you're just not going to, it's just not going to happen because of either whatever economic position you were born into, your social strata, all that stuff. But I was gonna say, like, in the social context of it, of like, especially seeing like all these TikTok people blow up, all these YouTube people blow up, all of a sudden they get that fame, that stuff, and then they're still miserable because people think that having that monetary goal is what's gonna make their life, is what's gonna make them happy, but like, you still have the same problems. It's just now you have a shit ton of money, and maybe you have more problems now because you have said money. And it's like people don't have an understanding. They see these images of Elon Musk with his jets and all this stuff and his funny Twitter. They see Jeff Bezos and all that stuff. They see these exterior performance things that these people curate to show the world. Yeah. But they don't see their baby mama issues, the reasons for the divorce, the like stuff, like all these people, like there's a reason why, like if you look into their social, like familial friendship circles and stuff, like they have horrible relationships. Right. Like it's because of that. It's like sometimes like that money, you can't just focus it on like I just want to be rich. Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes like that's like it's not a full thing, but it's also like going back to what I had originally said, like again, like it's not settling. I feel like some people just have to understand certain things are not made for certain people. It just is, and like
I would word this differently with the same idea.
Can I finish explaining my thought? Because it's kind of like not everybody. You know how like that phrase? It's like some people are born with it. Yeah. Some people just naturally have that thing, and they'll naturally go somewhere. That's not to say that people won't get there with hard work, but it's also to have that understanding of like sometimes that stuff isn't for you. Like all these young people are like. Young, I say as a 26-year-old, but like I mean more like the teenagers, the preteens. They're idolizing these curated images of like what it is to have made it on Instagram on stuff, and that's what they think they need to aspire to. But in reality, it's like if every single preteen girl could do that, like it's not gonna happen, like realistically. And they also, like you had said, like all these people don't actually know. Like, it's not just being the Instagram model. Like, there's other stuff that they do behind it. Yeah. But it's like people are so focused on the obtaining that monetary goal that they don't focus on their interpersonal relationships. They don't focus on their hobbies. They don't focus on anything that, like, brings them pleasure or joy because they're just trying to get it to that. And it's like, sometimes people lose who they are, trying to be something they're not. Yeah. That's what I'm more trying to get at. So it's different. Like people are like, I want to be the next billionaire, but like that's just not who they are. Like it's okay to just be like a regular person.
But like I said, the difference is
now
like
I get
we
what
have
you're saying. Yeah, the way we worded it is very.
The way we worded it originally was very bad. Yeah. Because like I said, like actually, it kind of
fuck you guys. No, but like because
it made me mad because it was just like you said it's so concrete. Like, you said it's so concrete that it kind of made me mad because I'm like, no, I'm the guy who has that dream, and you're telling me to not dream that big. Like, who the fuck are you?
Well,
like,
no, because I'm not saying that to you. No, I know, but I did end it with like, it's nothing wrong with having that dream, though.
Yeah, no, but
it's like
I would word it differently. I would word it as like, yo, have that dream and do your best to get there.
Achieve it, yeah.
But as you're there, enjoy the journey and enjoy the things that you have around you, even as you're going up there, and just be able to like, you know, realize that it's like enjoy it. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. You did make it to the $500,000 mark. You're there. At least enjoy it while you're there. If you want to keep pushing for the mill, go push for the mill. But at the same time, understand that you still have things around you that you should pay attention to. And it's like, it's good to have those dreams because the people who have those dreams, sometimes, not always, do things for humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah, true.
You know, they actually do things for humanity, and they actually do change the way of life one way or another. Yeah. You know, Bill Gates, you know, whatever, fine, he had rich parents. Maybe he aspired not even for the money, but for the technology. And look at what we're recording on. We're recording on a Windows computer.
Yeah, true.
But this is what I mean. It's like, fine, sometimes some people are money hungry, and that is true. But at the same time, there are people who I wouldn't say are money hungry, but fucking pushed so hard, and that one way or another, whether we know it or not, they did change our life. You know what I mean? And that's very different from that's a different way of saying what you said earlier, because the way
I guess I went straight for like the money.
You went,
I went directly.
And even then, it's like.
But you know what it is?
It's like, I want the money too, right?
No,
Fine,
I know.
but
it's just like I'm such a very money. Obviously, a lot of money centric thing is like
we're New
what I
Yorkers.
talk about.
You need money to survive in New York.
No, absolutely. But like again, because I do like investments and all this stupid shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I guess that's where I came from.
That,
so I get what you're saying.
When he said that phrase, I pictured a very specific person. It's the person who's like who always says it but doesn't put the work in.
That's different.
That's the
those
person.
Those people
need
matter.
to go out.
Actually, this message was for you people. No, but like
that's fine. Okay, fine. For those people, I agree. You're right.
You're
absolutely
but
right.
Actually, no,
that's
yeah,
what
that
I
kind
say.
of wasn't
It's
what I
like
was picturing.
people...
No, but you're right. I should have like. I'm sorry. I keep on.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We've been doing it to each other this whole time.
We need
it's
a real
like,
button.
Yeah, I know, right? We should get one. But for those people, like I think that's what has kind of infected a lot of what we see in social dialogue right now is people just think it's enough to have that want.
No.
And they don't. But like that's what
people
I'm saying.
Think it's just enough to say it out loud.
And they think it's enough, and they post their pictures, and they think that like that's what I'm saying. Especially with Instagram culture, like they posted, they think it's enough to say it to want it, but they don't realize you have to put in the work for it.
Yeah.
So that's one side of the thing.
Yeah.
But then the other side of the thing is like I think it's also kind of insidious how everybody's made out to think like I have to be this, I have to be this, I have to be this. When it's like in reality you might be striving for something that doesn't fit. Like maybe you be a bomb ass like cow farmer. I don't know. I just picked a random thing. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're right. Actually,
that reminds me. That reminds me of the
story. It could just not be your calling.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the story of drug dealer. This is not mine. This is a meme. That drug dealer who was trying to make edibles to sell,
and then he
became a professional baker because he found his
love
love
for
for baking.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
But like that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes like people.
Like I pictured the general public when you said that.
No, but
I know. I was picturing like those.
No, I mean I was thinking of those people too, but then I was thinking of myself, and I was thinking of other people that are working, are trying to
actively do that, and
actively do that, actively. You know,
no.
But at the same 100%. Time, it's like living in New York. We have to. You have to be kind of money hungry to survive.
Yeah, no, but good call out on my part. Like 100%, you're right. I definitely worded that really bad.
It's like at least if you would have started, if you started, this is for all the TikTokers and Instagrammers that talk shit. I would have been like,
I very much worded it to crush dreams, and I'm not realizing that. And I'm sorry for anyone who took that to heart. Like now that I'm like playing it back in my head, I'm like, no, that was super harsh.
Yeah, but if you give me the context of for all the TikTokers or people who talk shit out there, I would have like,
I guess it's just because like I maybe we sunk up on the same wavelength. Because when he said that,
I know.
I was like, I know exactly who you're talking about because I have somebody in my life, you know who I'm thinking of, who's like, I'm gonna be this person. I'm so smart. I do this. I did it, and then it's like, but you
see,
sit at home.
The difference for me is that
I
know. But here's the difference: is that I know exactly who's listening to this.
Yeah.
And it's general public. It's not going to be the TikTokers and Instagrammers.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
and I'll be honest, a lot of it, if not all of our listeners, are our friends on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who are trying to make it and are hustling and are listening to this podcast about
but
that.
I guess it.
So that's why I thought about it like that, because like I'm thinking general public. Those people included, and that's fine. But I was thinking everybody.
Which is fair.
No,
you
that's
made
fair.
a legitimate
it should
point.
Be like that.
But I guess it's kind of like maybe I'm gonna sound like my dad in this moment. It's kind of like if the shoe fits. If you get.
No, yeah, if the shoe fits.
Right. If you like, if it hits you pointedly. And you're like, oh, why is he attacking me? Like, maybe you should do a little bit of inner searching.
Wait, I felt it. I'm like, I just came off. I just came off a 9 to 5 and came here, and I literally have a paid job on Sunday. I'm suffering, man.
No, like,
and that hit me. Like, come on.
But I meant it more in like the people who delude themselves. That's what I mean.
I am deluded.
Oh my god.
Well, you said
I'm
that.
Sorry,
that's on you.
This podcast is over.
You know what? Screw it. Double down. Crush your dreams. Okay.
Thanks, girl.
I'm joking.
But it's like I know. Dude, but it's like I said. It's just
Yeah.
No, it's
I know
It
who's
was a fair
listening,
point,
and
yeah.
I'm like thinking about it
Fair.
because I also want to make it. This is also for
No,
like
actually,
us.
no. Fuck that. Actually, you guys proved me the fuck wrong. Become a billionaire. Buy this podcast
That's,
right
I
after.
told you this from the beginning. I do
Yeah.
it out of spite. I'm gonna do it regardless.
Now all you guys have to do it out of spite
That's
for
fine.
me.
You have
Everyone
the
out there,
drive. You're
Steven and
putting in the
everyone.
work. You're doing
Yeah,
the
there you
shit,
go.
right?
So you're
you're doing it. Like,
And I'm not posting on Instagram. Oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like
with your ass out, just like,
with my ass out and
I mean,
everything.
you know what? Shout out to the people that freaking do it and make bank off of it. Like, you're smarter than me.
Yeah.
You have your ass out and you're getting like what 500K for that.
They're
like,
driving Porsches and shit like that.
I know, right? And I'm
Tires.
like, I
Just
have
living.
a tiny little beetle, like beep beep. Like, so I'm like, to
it's
each
like
their
4
own.
years. It's 4 years old and it has 4,000 miles. And for everybody who's not a car person, an average person drives 10,000 miles 1 year. 4 years should be 40,000 miles. She has 4,000.
Damn.
No, what's even worse is I don't even have 4,000.
It's less.
It's less.
Plus.
What the fuck?
She doesn't drive. She got a car
Well,
to
you work
leave
in
it at
the
home.
in the city, so I
So
guess that
here's
makes
the thing.
sense.
I got
right?
that car at the end of college because I thought
Yeah.
with my big brain, with my wrinkly brain, I'm gonna work in Long Island, and then I get a job.
Well, that was the original.
That was the original plan. And then I get
she
a
was
job.
okay.
Oh, okay.
And then I got a job that was 10-minute walk from my apartment.
And she is still at this job, and now they moved her to the
And
city
now I'm in the
office.
city office, so now I take the LIRR because I'm not driving into the
Right,
city.
right.
But yeah, so anyways, back to the main conversation of doing it to,
Making it.
making it. Like, either at the end of the day, I feel like you have to be money hungry.
In New
Especially being in
York.
New York, especially New York. But
And
LA,
America, yeah.
And America, you have to be money hungry in order to get
But I
somewhere
hate it.
just to be
Yeah.
stable in life. I'm not even saying to be the next Elon Musk or whatever, whatever, any rich person, but just to make it here at least where we live,
Yeah.
you have to be money hungry. You have to be wanting that meal. You need to because it's like,
But
let's
I
be
just
honest,
want
the person that
chickens
makes
and goats.
I know that's you, but then go live on a farm and make no money and you'll be fine. But that's my point. It's like
Yeah.
I live in New York, and I'm if we move to another city, it's gonna be another city where we have to.
Oh, Sophie, she's crying.
If you want to support the dog, we need money.
Yeah.
You want to have a house, you need money. You want to eat, you need money. You want to just have a nice pair of headphones, you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
money. Even for the most simplest of things, you want a good bagel, you need money.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like
Absolutely.
you have to be money hungry. You have to want the million in order to make it, because
Right.
otherwise, if you're telling yourself I only need 30 grand, then you stop
Right.
yourself. And that was like the previous thing I was saying. It's like some people just settle and they settle too far down.
Yeah.
And that's like a bad thing. Like, aside from all the TikTokers, Instagrammers, and people who talk shit, you need to have that mentality. You need to have the mentality of I need to
Like
make
something
it
has to
big.
keep you going for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Otherwise, then what's the point of keeping going? You should
Yeah,
just,
yeah, absolutely.
just quit now and stay at home with your parents.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Well,
can agree with that.
no, because now
No.
I'm gonna call you out for that because
I'm trying not to live with my parents, girl.
no, I understand that, but that's your personal view. Some people are like, I want to live with my parents, or their happiness is in like their kids or
Or
their
some people are just
pets,
okay with
or-
being normal. Yeah, I guess I could say like ordinary.
Yeah, like
But I was
that's
just
what I
saying
was trying.
Ordinary serious question mark?
But I'm saying stable.
God.
But my point is, I'm not even aiming high anymore. I'm saying stable, just to be stable. And even
Yeah.
then, it's like,
Like,
God
that's
forbid,
fair, yeah.
God
Yeah,
forbid for those
absolutely.
people that live with their parents. God forbid this, but once their parents pass away, what income do they have?
Yeah, then what?
Oh yeah, if they
And then
don't-
it's like, if you
they're
live in New
not-
York, then what do you have?
Yeah.
That's my point. It's like I want everybody to be
Stable.
hungry enough to be at least
Yeah, like the bare
bottom
minimum
line.
independent.
Exactly. For not
Independent.
even independent, fine, be dependent of your parents, but be able to have an income that, God forbid, something happens to them, you're able to
You're
still live.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree
Sophie.
with that.
But it's like, I feel like, you need, like I said, you need to be money hungry to a certain extent
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that. And the people who are extra money hungry, they could at least go for it. And,
Yeah.
and maybe they'll make it. Some
And
people
just-
do, and others don't.
Yeah, be money hungry and also live in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
I'm saying. That's a
Yeah.
whole different phrase.
I'm gonna then posit this question, and I was watching a few YouTube videos about it, and obviously because I have a degree in philosophy, I like things like this. Do you think does money is having money? It's the phrase. Does money buy happiness?
Yes.
Why?
Sustainability.
But up to that point, and then afterwards, I feel like it doesn't equate into the situation. Because it was like that thing that I was talking about earlier with Elon Musk. And like, if you look in their interpersonal lives and their personal
You're gonna
matters.
hate me for this. Economics, law of diminishing returns. The law states...
I just went smooth brain on that one. I'm like, nah.
the more you add, the less happiness you get. So you can still continuously add money, or in the case of the thing is that if you own a company and you add one more employee, how much does your productivity go up? And after a certain point of too many employees, your productivity either stays flat
Stagnates
or it goes down. Same. I would say the same thing goes with money. You know, of course, let's say the thing goes up until you reach, stability, and then depending on how you live, because everybody lives a different lifestyle, and how you want to live and how you enjoy living, that extra amount of income or money can either increase your happiness, keep your happiness stable, or decrease your happiness. So I think after a certain extent, like you said, the exact point of Elon Musk and everybody having interpersonal skills go down and the relationships go down, that's just when you have too much.
Yeah.
But that's
There's
the
a
diminishing
sweet
return.
spot,
That's the diminishing return. But I'm saying everything passes stability. I still think there is some space where you
like
can
a sweet spot for sure.
like a sweet spot, or
So
just
then
a
I
gap
don't
where you can
technically
sweet
yeah.
brick.
So then I don't disagree with you, because I was gonna bring up they did there was a socioeconomics. Sophie's destroying something as always. There was a socioeconomic a socioeconomic study done for that very question: does money buy happiness? To what point does money, having a certain amount of money, equate happiness?
Yes.
And they were saying basically, like how you said, that for people who have lower economic strata and stuff, money equated happiness because it equated stability.
Yes.
So, and they found that once they got to a certain point where you were able to financially take care of all of your basic needs, and you weren't worrying about like your bills, your stuff, you didn't have debt and stuff. After that, money no longer became a contributing factor to a person's personal happiness.
Yeah.
It then became of like their hobbies, their
Exactly.
family stuff. So so that's what I
And
say.
then that's where the extra bit of money helps. Because for a person who wants to travel and see the world, but they only have enough to be stable, they're happy. But you can, with $1,000 more, increase that happiness by a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So that's why there's that gap past that stability where, money still buys happiness to a certain extent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
But that's what I was saying. Like in society, if you just ask your regular person, they're just gonna automatically say no, because I think in our society we're always taught to think as if we're already in that stable point, or we're taught to have the viewpoints of the people of a much higher economic strata than we are, that like obviously they don't have to worry about these things, so they're just like, oh yeah, what does it matter if you cry in a Lambo or you cry in a Porsche?
The difference is that when I
like,
cry in my yacht, I have water. I have my jacuzzi in my
but
yacht.
There's a German proverb like, is there a difference between crying on a bike or crying in a car? It's like, no, you're still crying, but one is more comfortable.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, to a certain... Everything in
To a
moderation.
certain point, yeah.
Everything in moderation, to a certain extent, yes, it does. And after a certain point, it just either plateaus or just goes to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point you can just do.
Yeah.
You can just do, and that's the thing.
That's the point that I want to get to. I want to get to that sweet spot past stability, and just have enough money to travel, do my hobbies, and just enjoy the other...
Just live.
And just live, and but also be able to just do a little bit more. That's it. Like, that's the
live in
point.
hobbies.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like...
essentially free time. Like, having free time to do the stuff you love.
And not having to worry about... Yeah, not having to worry about the price.
such a low bar. I'm like, I want to sleep in.
Okay, but you can...
No, but that's buying your time back.
Yeah, but then that's...
Yeah.
So, literally. Yeah,
That's
if you had the
exactly-
extra money, you'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. Now, do we have closing statements on this now that we've had this whole discussion? And I guess the question that we should end it off with.
Minimum wage should not be $15 goddamn dollars.
I don't think any employer would ever listen to this podcast.
No.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I really
this
do
is for
think,
the people. This is for the people.
I know, but I really do think if it was my own personal choice, I really feel like people wages and stuff should be correlated to inflation and what is current living standards.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
I know it's not, but I would like to live in hope and dream of a utopia.
Me and you both.
I
And
mean,
you can live
I'm
in
in
hope and
cloud
dream, but you
cuckoo
gotta
land.
realize 100% of people are not gonna become millionaires.
It's a callback.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just try and be happy.
Yeah.
And try to be true to yourself. Don't go
Yeah.
chasing rainbows where there aren't any.
Don't go
I still think you
chasing-
should chase a rainbow unless you're just a TikToker or Instagrammer that just talks shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely like settle, but also continue moving past.
Compromise.
Yeah,
Compromise. There we go. Compromise.
No.
And move. It sounds
Compromise.
Compromise, but still try to move if you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Compromise and still try to move if you can. That would be my kind of advice, or not advice, my kind of closing statement. If, push as much as you can, and when you get to a level, enjoy it, but continue pushing to the next level.
Yeah.
That's how I would say it. Just always,
Yeah, absolutely.
always move forward as much as you can.
Absolutely. I can agree with that.
Settling in the moment does not equate failure.
Yes.
Yeah,
For the rest of your
absolutely.
life.
I guess my closing statement's going to be to the question, how do we make it in this day and age? And I guess with everything that we've gotten to talk about today, I guess the best way to put it is, not I guess, I think the best way to put it is that it's a mixture of everything. A mixture of experience, a mixture of studying, a mixture of living. Just find where all these things come together and compromise and apply it to real life situations. Don't knock meeting people, don't knock seducing people. No, be good
Don't
at
knock education either.
don't gun that.
It's like you don't need it, and at the same time
exactly.
you do at the same time. So.
Be good at interpersonal relations, but also be good at, be good at your studies. And a lot of these things open up multiple doors. And like I said before, luck really is just being prepared for any situation that falls your way. And that's how I think I made it. And if someone as smooth-brained as me can make it, then I'm 100% sure a lot of you guys can make it. And that is my
This is
closing
gonna be a
statement.
running callback for,
Oh, yeah.
for the rest of the.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode
Thank
of
you so
the
much.
BS Show. We hope to see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll have some actual video because
Yes,
I need
yes,
everybody
yes.
to see Anna pressing a fake button
I'm
in
gonna
the
buy a
middle of the
button.
table.
I'm gonna
Sure.
buy a
No,
button.
because
Yes.
then we're gonna break that on the one episode.
Objection.
Objection! I think I broke it. She just hurt herself from tapping too hard on the table. But thank you for joining us, guys. Until next time.
Adios, amigos.
Bye bye.